And we are live. We're the Divided People. I'm your co-host, Marky Mark, and to my left, we have this shitty person.
No, thank you. I'm fucking tired. But anyway.
Lance.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. And in front of us, we have...
Home field advantage. Caden, Brennan, Gage.
Is that everybody?
It's everybody.
We're missing somebody?
Nope, we're not
Okay.
missing anybody.
All right.
Can't. Nobody sticks around long enough for them to be a fourth.
That's what happened? Okay.
You're playing
I know
with
you said
somebody.
one was going to make it. And then
Let's
I'm
just
like,
leave it
oh,
at that.
yeah. Fair enough. What do y'all play?
Brennan plays drums. Gage is our bassist. I do vocals and I play guitar.
Okay, I appreciate that, man. What kind of genre? Glad we got that, though.
What are we?
Okay.
What are we?
What are we?
All right.
We like to think we're some things, but
Someone
we're not.
tell me.
We can cross out, are y'all hip-hop?
No, absolutely
Yes.
not. Absolutely. Although we have a lot of hip hop artists wanting to collab with us, don't really know
For
why.
some reason, yeah, a lot of the
Because
local
Jay-Z and Linkin Park did it phenomenal.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
we can't touch that.
we're not looking forward.
No, I mean,
Don't put that
Jay-Z.
pressure on
What's
us.
the Limp Bizkit and
Oh no, don't bring that up. That was
Well, that's what it ends up being. They want to be Jay-Z and Linkin Park, and it
You
ends up
trying to break
being
stuff?
Huh?
Limp Bizkit. Trying to break stuff?
No, the one that they collabed with. I forget.
what was that? Yeah, that horrible collaboration where like
All I
Fred
know is-
Fred Durst was all into it, but the rest of the bands in the background like fucking hate
It was
it.
like
It's like wow,
it was like
see their
it was
anger
like
in
the
that.
beginning of collabs, and it caused it to not to happen for a
The
few more
public,
years.
I
the
can
Public
think-
Enemy and Anthrax
Yeah,
collab.
yeah. So everyone thinks they were going to be Jay-Z and Linkin Park, and it ended up being that.
Don't do it.
I mean, the best way to, I guess, explain our sound is if, like, pop punk, math rock, and, like, groove rock.
Wait,
had a
what was that
child.
other one? Did you say math rock?
Math
Yeah.
rock.
You never
What
heard of
is
math?
You've never heard of
Oh,
it?
it's like essentially jazz rock.
Yeah.
It's like
if-
emo jazz.
Yeah.
It's like emo jazz.
There's a lot of like there's a lot of complicated musical concepts, especially rhythmically.
I have to go look that up now.
Yeah.
He's thinking like 2 + 2 right now.
No, it's like math rock. You talking like
So I
Schoolhouse
explained
Rock.
this
I
to
was
somebody
like,
today at work, actually, and they were like, why is it math? Like, why do they call it math rock? And I'm like, is it like 2 + 2 or like
I
multiplication?
figured it was
whatever?
like the rhythm count or something.
It is, okay.
is, it's the rhythm.
So imagine, most music's in 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's whenever you take something like that and combine it with another time signature, such as like
Right.
5, 8 or something. So,
You've got ultimately polyrhythmic, polymetric stuff going on where you've got 2 time signatures happening at once. In one of our songs, there's one part where Caden's playing guitar, and I haven't even figured out exactly what he's doing. He just does it.
I'm playing a swing 3/4.
Yeah, and then me and Brennan.
I just hit you. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
It's like I just show up and play. This is called music,
Oh.
No, but there's a whole bunch of different complexities going on that makes it more
I
academic.
can tell you're the bass.
To be fair, to be completely fair, we're not like super math rock though, because
Not
we don't.
super. We keep it simple enough to where it's interesting, but not too out there that it's just difficult to listen to.
Right.
That's why a lot of people don't like jazz. Is
Yeah.
because you literally have to learn to like jazz.
It's
Because
an acquired
difficult to
taste.
listen to.
He hates jazz.
That's not true.
I'm sorry, he hates New Orleans jazz.
No. No, what you're talking about that isn't jazz. I'm talking about the people on the streets who are like playing a saxophone, and I'm like, you don't know how to play that. I'm like, you're just making noise.
He hates New Orleans
And
jazz.
then people are like, I just hate when people are like, there's like tourists on, and they're like, oh, that's so New Orleans. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, that's not. It's
Some
crap.
crackhead stole like it.
Yeah,
stole
but
a
at some
saxophone and
point, if
Stole
you
that
see-
instrument.
if you see it on every
Play it.
corner, it becomes just city. I'm sorry.
That's how I feel with the people with the buckets. Every corner you turn, there's
playing
there's-
the buckets?
There's
There's just
dude
like
with a
groups
bucket.
of kids, like
Dude,
10
it's like-
feet from
like
each other,
the-
like just battle drumming,
or
like
the
Nick Cannon,
bottle-
drum line.
Pick up the bottle cap tap dancers. I'm like, that's not tap dancing.
We were on
To
Bourbon
be
Street.
fair, I can't do that.
Exactly, but I'm just there like, I'm like, okay, give me the bottle caps. Watch it.
I can do something.
I'm like, you're not doing anything.
Hey, someone do something. It's called recycle. Okay. It's called-
Do something good for the environment. I'm like you.
Don't get me started. But no, I had people that would come down here to visit, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so New Orleans." I'm like, "No, it's not." I'm
But like it is though. Like,
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
it
Like,
is.
I'm like, I'm sorry, but it is now. You can't.
I just hate that they think it's music. I'm like, it's not music though. I'm like,
My-
you can't play that
My
properly.
favorite thing about it is like we're on Bourbon Street and there's these kids just playing buckets and I'm like they're children and I'm like where are you? You're on Bourbon Street. Where are your parents?
Working that
What
corner.
is-
They need
what
to
is
make a
that?
living.
Bro, I'm telling y'all, ninth floor babies are completely different, like
Different
completely
savages, bro.
different species of like
No, you know what they remind me of?
things.
They remind me of the paper boards back in like the 17th century. Like when they're like, extra, extra, and then motherfuckers, come here and give me your money, bitch.
I remember one time we were walking past and we looked at the dude and he didn't ask us, he told us now we gotta give him money because we looked at him when he was playing. We were like, we ain't got no money for you. Like, that's not how it works.
We're musicians too, man.
Like we struggle just as hard as you, bro.
Like, do you take the bird? Because it comes in twos.
See, my favorite thing is if I don't have money and they're asking for money, I'm like, you take any kind of currency? They're like, yeah. I'm like, here's $1 Brennan dollar. $1
And it doesn't work in Brennan country. I don't
Man, see,
understand.
like the best thing that happened to us in New Orleans though was that the 25-cent joke dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
that's how you make
one
a
of his
living.
jokes-
Give it-
So one of his jokes, which was honestly one of the best jokes I've heard in years, we asked him, "Hey man, here's $1. Just tell us a joke, because we don't have a quarter." And then he was like, "Okay, how much cocaine can Charlie Sheen do?" And we're like, "Huh, I don't know." And he said, "Enough to kill 2.5 men."
Pretty good.
You kind of have to think about that one for a second if you're
Yeah.
not quick-minded.
You
But
talking about the scam guys that walk up to you and try to hustle money out of you? For
no, this is
something?
just like a
this
straight-up
thing was
homeless
just-
dude has
it
a
was
sign,
just
"Hey,
big chilling.
25-cent
Oh, I was
jokes."
about to say because I'd be.
No, that's the hey. I bet $100 I know where you got your shoes
Yeah.
from.
I used to fuck with those guys every time I did it. I'd be like, no, you can't. They're like the store. I'm like, nope. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like,
On your feet in New Orleans is what they say
He
now.
said, yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, nope. Like you're wrong. You're still wrong. Everything they say, no.
They're
Where's
hand-me-downs.
my money? Where's my money?
Where'd you get
I
it
don't
from?
know where
Your
these
dead
came
mom.
from.
You never said where she got it from. Yeah. Where I got it from.
I stole them
But you stole it from the store? No, you
from a
dead mom.
cemetery.
Oh, we're having a good time.
Oh man.
Always.
I mean, to be fair, I got my shoes from my dead mom too. So.
I love dead people.
The Grateful Dead is a band.
It's recycling. But
Back to the cave.
like your music.
What's that?
So you're better than the people who play on the street, right?
Hopefully, that's the idea that we carry.
That's what we're going for, at least. You know.
That's not juice.
He just said daddy juice.
Lance's baby is your
Sorry.
That's our special guest this evening.
Yeah, screw y'all guys.
I think
It's just a side dish.
the best way to find out our sound is just to check out when we release music and just kind of make that justification on your own time, honestly. Because it's really hard to explain. There's no way to pinpoint a genre.
Yeah.
Our main goal within this project was to create a sound that's ours, that's unique, that we can't be subgenred with like other bands.
Yeah.
Are y'all looking for a fourth member?
Nah.
Not per
We've kind of
se.
decided
Are
not
you
really.
open to it, or you just decided?
We-
It's,
I
there's
think
pros
we
and
would
cons
be
to
open.
it. There's a lot of pros and cons to it. Like,
Well, you have
Well,
the three.
we've got 3 people.
Right, that's what I'm
And we've got a guitar, we've got vocals, because between me and Caden doing vocals, we're both kind of doing things. Bass, drums. We add another person that's more gear we've got to throw in
Yeah, I
to
mean, it's
pack. That's one extra person that's
the
got
only
to get paid
Yeah,
at
and
the
then
end
it's
of the
extra
show.
guitar and stuff.
we gotta work around their schedule because we already gotta work around ours and stuff. It's already, it's just.
I mean,
We-
no, a
and
lot
we
of people
pretty
do
much-
three people.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
and
not a
we've pretty
bad
much
thing.
got like a routine down on when we get together and what we work on. And
I mean, look what Slipknot does. That's a pain to get into.
So
I
I get-
played
my
bass with
lord.
questions.
This question kind of
That-
ties
you
into another
remember
question.
yeah,
That was
So-
like a 12-piece
yeah.
band, and that was difficult. I
I
don't
know.
ever want to be in another band.
Well, that's what I'm
ever
saying.
if I would
Slipknot,
do
like
it
you,
again.
you're with them touring for a year, and they go, hey, you liking the band? Yeah, it's not working out, bro. Sorry. What?
Well,
I
that
didn't
was the
tryouts.
That was the thing with that band too. Is like we were talking to Warner Brothers, and like we had a legitimate like thing going with Warner Brothers where they were like, look, we want to do some stuff with you, and if it goes well, we want to put out an album. And like there was like half the band decided they wanted to go off and play college football and so do that, and like so the ones of us.
Odell. That's
Penn State. Back in
No,
2012.
actually,
Stay pinned.
actually, the Jones Brothers are doing some pretty cool stuff right now, and I'm really proud of them. But regardless, like half the band wanted to go play college football, and the ones of us that still actually wanted to do stuff we were like, yeah, we're still hyped to do this, and Warner Brothers was like, if
It's all or nothing.
If it's not all of you, we don't want it.
I've
So-
heard that story so many times from Warner Brothers. Like, I heard they're a bitch and a half.
Yeah, and that's what I.
That's what fuck people over a lot out here
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I heard like what happens is
Be careful, they might want to sign us. That's what you say.
They're not going to listen.
they're never gonna sign me because I can't sing for shit. I heard
I get
that
the trash.
they who was it? They released the album with them and then they get a lick of cent because they
Oh, no one does.
because well not even a penny because of the fact that something happened and the bass left or something like that, and because it wasn't the initial 3 in the contract,
Yep.
out the window. Like, we don't pay any
The
of y'all.
record labels are always going to find a way to fuck you over on
Yeah,
everything.
we signed y'all as a total package.
But if you
You're
don't
no
have a
longer
record
total
label,
package, therefore
they
we
still
don't
try to
have to
fuck
pay
you over
you.
because you're not signed.
They're
They're assholes. I know. They're bullies. That's what it
it's
is.
really inevitable to go around all of that, like, you know, like, miss all of it. Like, we try to be as independent as we can, but you can only be so independent before
At
Oh, no,
some
I
point,
get it.
help, you
now,
know, like,
I think the goal isn't to sign a record deal with anybody per se, because at that point they own you and you work for them. That's
Exactly.
not
Yeah,
our
it's
I'm
idea.
not trying to be bound by a
it's not
contract. That's the
your
last thing I
music
need.
anymore.
Yeah, I think the idea though is possibly signing a
Except for Ray
distribution
Charles.
deal, a distribution
Charles
contract
owned
where
this
we
shit.
have, like, for an example, like within our genre of music, if we can be put into a genre yet, like Hopeless Records is huge, and they sign a lot of distribution deals where bands aren't signed with them, but they distribute their
The
music
band,
for
yeah.
them.
You have an agreement for the distribution of
Yeah.
the music, not for the owning.
I think
right,
that would be-
property
Yeah,
of the
that'd be
band.
ideal.
Right.
That
right
would
there.
be in the
That's more popular nowadays. than, like,
Absolutely.
Right.
because
I mean, with streaming platforms such as
Yeah.
like Apple Music, Spotify,
Well, nowadays,
SoundCloud.
you can put
yeah,
it
I
up
say
yourself.
nowadays you
Yeah.
can put all your own music out. You don't really need them anymore.
Right, it's just more or less of the promotion aspect.
Yeah.
They have a bigger audience,
Yeah, they're-
obviously.
well, yeah,
They're
and
promoting
they
their
put you
music.
with the,
They're
artists
dealing
that
with
tour
the
and-
They're gonna get you
people.
on radio stations. They're
They're
gonna get
getting you gigs and shows and promoting that
Yep.
stuff, doing the advertisements for that. And it
They'll
takes
put
all
you
the,
in the search engines and all that.
it
so you
takes
pop
all
up.
of that off of you. But
they're gonna
at
put you in
what
hard
cost?
rock even if you're not hard rock. That aggravates. Like hard rock. Have you seen Rascal Flatts? Bitch, what? And it has happened.
Aren't they country?
I
Bring
thought
a
so.
point, man.
Music.
I don't listen to country. I don't listen to country.
Okay, so like heavy metal, they have Fall Out Boys classified.
Oh.
Is that better for you?
That's yeah.
Music.
I understand that.
Drums go bang.
Like I said, I just show up and
crash,
play. I
crash.
just show up and play. I don't know anything. I just show up and play.
Your new name is Bam Bam.
Uh,
That works out well.
I'm not going to bring that up in like 12 years.
We're just gonna like
Gage. That
every
was
year
12
we're just
years
gonna
ago.
revert back to this podcast. It's like, oh, it's anniversary. Check this out, Brendan. This is where you
Hey,
sounded
Brittany, you remember you
stupid.
said
Hey, every band has their image, alright? Certain people have certain.
Yeah, he's gonna be the cover of y'all band now. Like, you know,
Aw.
It's funnier that way.
I knew it. Like I said, I knew there was gonna be a time where I'm in the spotlight.
He
It's
said,
just
even
a
though
moment.
Caden's the front man, I am.
but that's like Pete from Fall Out Boy. He's not the front man, but shit, you put him up there.
That's a bunch of bands. I mean, it happens. Sometimes the person you least expect like stands out for some reason. It doesn't matter why. Some people have that image on purpose. Okay. Woo! He agreed. You know, sometimes they've had groups that have faked the image of their people.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
because it got more attention. They're like, you need a little character. We're
One of
gonna
my
make you
one of my
this."
favorite things is the Monkees. Are you familiar? It's old, the Monkees, right? Was literally just a manufactured band because the Beatles were selling, so the music industry was like, we need more of this. So they manufactured
They
the
still do that.
Monkees.
They still do that. A genre-
Absolutely.
Creed.
Genre pops up. They're like, we gotta
Could you
make. We
say
gotta
kinda like Creed?
mass Creed.
Speaking of Creed, you know he can't. Cause you know all of them left him with the Alter Bridge except for the lead singer, basically.
Yeah.
I forget his name. The lead singer for Creed. He's back. He just dropped a new single.
His name is Meh.
It's actually making his way up the top chart, so you might be hearing him soon. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was like, damn. Damn. I thought drugs hit you pretty hard.
That's what he meant by "Can you take me higher?"
Can you take me? Because this dope don't work no more.
With arms wide open.
Those are veins. The veins are
I was
wide
thinking
open.
rehab. You know, rehab's always wanted to take you. We're going to fucking hell.
Oh man.
Not a religious
See you there,
band.
Keith.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all aren't Christian rock. This would be a whole different.
Dude,
conversation.
it's funny that you're saying. Me and you were talking about that the other day. Like, I heard that is the easiest genre though
Yeah.
to make money in.
It is
For a new
because
band.
there's not many of them. All right, so the idea of Christian rock or Christian music in general, and it kind of sucks because like I'm Christian, like that's like my thing. But like they'll do Christian music. No, okay, there's either two things that happen. They try to be like secular music, and then they fail, so they go to the Christian community, and they can succeed because there's not many bands out there doing it. All you have is black gospel, old gospel,
Well, plus a lot of those
or
churches have their own
contemporary
recording
Christian
And
music.
for some
Right.
reason, Flyleaf made it. I don't know.
See, exactly.
Flyleaf,
Well,
Skillet.
you have all these churches will come in and be like, okay, well, let's do something for our youth. Oh, there's a band. Oh, what's their name? There's two of them, so just pick one. And that's the
Antifa.
yeah. So that's the idea of like the whole Christian rock thing, and it kind of sucks because I mean,
Yeah, but like I said, they don't.
Well,
have
I mean,
to, they
there
don't
were-
have to rely on people.
there were
either,
also
'cause
a
they
bunch
have
of,
their own
like-
recording studios
Yeah.
and shit.
There were a bunch of hardcore Christian bands too.
August Burns Red was a huge
August
Christian
Burns
heavy band.
Red, As I Lay Dying Before He Tried to Kill His
Yeah,
Wife.
that was great.
He meant that
The
literally.
Devil Wears Prada was
Devil Wears
Christian.
Prada. I think there's-
Under Oath was, but they came out a couple years ago saying that they're no longer a Christian band.
Yeah.
But there,
They had a
there
guy-
was,
they had
there
a
was
guy
a
just-
really big like
a guy
Christian
just recently
hardcore
Whatever,
scene.
like-
See, the Christian metalcore scene was huge for a while.
I know,
like
right?
2009 to 2012, 13.
Basically, where Flyleaf was in it. Like they just
Like-
fell off randomly. It was like, what happened to them?
It was. It really
They
was
had
a
one
huge
good song,
scene.
in my opinion.
that
Flyleaf.
one album they did was like what made them, and then all of a sudden it was like, what happened to them? Like they just
Yeah.
they did a collab song with Skillet, and then it was like no more. It's like Skillet.
Well, they
killed
went
them.
through like two different vocalists too.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm really, like the only song I can think of from Flyleaf is "I Can Feel You All Around
Yeah.
Me."
That's what I'm saying. That's like the only good song
That's
that I
the
know
only
about.
song I know.
That song slaps though.
Yeah,
what do you
what was
mean?
it? They had another one. That was pretty good.
There's a couple, but I remember them because they had that battle, which was technically a battle between them and
Fully
Paramore.
Alive.
Yeah, but
And then Evanescence
yeah.
is like, my children. It's okay, I'm back.
They were kind of sneaky though, because they were kind of one of those ones that was like it was Christian rock with a lot of people didn't realize.
Okay,
was
it
Christian rock.
felt heavy. And people were
Yeah,
like-
they were
Yeah.
like because they didn't directly say the stuff,
Right.
so it was just
Right.
kind of.
But that's kind of like Skillet too for a while though. When Skillet first hit the scene, everyone was like, oh, we love him, and then they found out it's Christians. Like, fuck, what?
Yeah, I mean when I got into Devil Wears Prada when I was probably like in sixth
Dude,
or
yeah, that
seventh
was-
grade.
That was pretty heavy too. And then
Yeah,
like when
that's
they
how they
you
got
found
it.
out officially, you're like,
Yeah, when I found out, I was like, "What?" And then, like, of
it was
course-
like you
of
sell
course,
out.
like, right, but like, of course, like, I grew up in a super religious family, so like, I go
you're like,
home
fuck.
and I'm listening to metal, and my parents are like, "What are you listening to?" I'm like, "The Devil Wears Prada," and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "They're a Christian band. Look, I'll pull it up on Wikipedia."
Don't lie. You're like Devil Wears Prada because I'm a rebel. You're like, ha, it's a Christian band. No.
Because I was also listening to like Marilyn Manson and Cradle of Filth, and
Dude,
like all this. Like,
There's not many people that make my skin crawl, but Marilyn Manson is one.
I
of them.
was
Dude,
a
me and
huge
you
Manson
both.
Fan.
I cannot stand.
I've never liked Manson. I've
his,
never
his
liked
look,
Manson.
like in general,
I
it's just
loved
like
it.
I want to fight him.
It's like so sadistic.
It's like
He said on site.
no, you know how that one like particular roach that like you're just like I gotta kill you.
That's him.
Like yeah,
You
because
need to
like,
die.
like he just looks like it. Like I hope I never see him because I feel like I might end up in jail.
I don't know if anybody sees him anymore. Does he
Yeah,
do stuff still?
yeah, he still does. He's
It's
heavily
terrible. It's absolute trash, and like
Well, I'm
almost,
not even talking about music.
almost every
know
every
it's
concert he does, he ends up passing out on
I didn't
stage
even know
or
he still did music. To
puking.
be honest with you.
Yeah,
He was doing a lot of Disney appearances for a while.
What?
Manson Disney
Yeah.
appearances.
Yeah.
Oh,
What you
okay.
doing?
I know.
Hey, Disney owns.
I mean,
porn,
his
just
first-
so you know.
What?
His face. Jesus,
What?
face. No,
Wait, are we talking about like
Disney-
Cinderella porn or like?
No,
They said,
Disney,
what and where can I find
Disney is like the parent company, but they have subsidiary companies too.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
some of the
yeah,
biggest
yeah.
porn companies in the world
They
were
own
owned by
brands.
Disney.
Wow.
Do they really?
No, I don't know.
Okay, thanks for joining in.
I don't know how to answer that question.
He's asking all the hard questions.
I know, man.
Okay, well you gotta go, buddy. I gotta look this up now, just because.
I know. I was told a lie. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I just threw it out there.
Does
Disney
own-
executives pleased to announce acquisition of Pornhub.
Okay.
I wasn't joking.
Word.
I was close.
Disney, anything that will make money,
Same thing.
they're gonna buy it.
I mean, like, who's hating on them,
Disney's
though? I think
pockets are
everyone
fucking
uses
deep,
some
bro.
platform
I'm
for
just
that.
saying,
Also-
they know where the money is. And they
I'm
go
gonna say
for
they're
it.
just trying to get some extra money.
Yeah, so like one of the creepiest pictures I ever saw was like Marilyn Manson hugging Mickey Mouse. And I was like,
Yeah,
I was like, I'm like a skeleton just absorbing him almost. Like, God, Mickey, what have you done?
Every time someone says his name, I always think about the interview I watched, and someone asked like,
Why he named himself that?
No,
Oh,
it
that
was they said like because he believes in reincarnation or some shit, and he was like, they're like, well, what would you want to come back as? He said AIDS. And I was just like,
remember that.
I was like, I don't even know how to interpret that. Like, you just want to come back as
That
AIDS?
that
Like,
interprets to me as like you want to be punched in the face. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that just sounds like what do you want to be? What do you want to be when you come back? I want someone to just keep punching me.
He wants to be eradicated in 10 years after he's reincarnated.
word?
Like,
That's-
like there's only one song I can actually listen to, and I'm not thinking is "Sweet Dreams," and even then it's still hard for me to listen to. Cause I'm like, you make me crawl. I want to fuck you. Like it's so much rage. Like it reminds me of Peter and the Chicken. Like I'm fighting on sight. Period.
I want to
No
know who
question.
did. I want to know who did the mixing for Tainted Love though, because they the bass and stuff to that at the time. Like if you want to like crank your bass in your car, everybody had the sound system in their car. Tainted Love actually from Marilyn Manson, that the bass on it was pretty hard.
Yeah, it does go hard. Joey Jordison is also in the music video as well.
Look, you can keep him. You can keep him over there. I just, like I said,
I'm not saying he's good or anything.
no,
He's-
and
I'm
like,
not saying
I
he's
love
good.
it.
I'm just saying.
I
It's
love
slapped.
rock's my favorite genre of everything. But Marilyn Manson makes my skin crawl, and I'd fucking hate him.
It's like
If he was in a
shotgun.
fire, I would try to piss gasoline. I'd somehow make it happen.
Who remembers that weird stage where Eminem and Marilyn Manson were like friends?
Yeah.
And they would bring each other out on stage
Nope.
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think
That
that,
was
was
like a
I don't
weird
think that
stage.
was real. I think
I thought
maybe
that was the
they're-
same. They were signed by the same people.
Yeah, that's
and
what I think happened. I think they were signed by the same company, and that was during that time where they were trying to make all these
Yeah.
matchups. And I think they're like, pretend you're friends.
Again,
don't want
Pretend
to.
you're friends.
No money.
Jay-Z, Linkin Park, best one I've heard.
Worst one I've heard is Blink-182 and Lil Wayne.
That was, yeah.
Is that the new one that came out that-
Yeah, it
Oh.
sounds like a
I
dying
think,
cat
I think
with Lil
Limp
Wayne.
Bizkit and I think the Limp Bizkit one was the worst.
I mean, in our genre, you had Sleeping with Sirens and Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, that song kind of slides.
Sleeping at
you're nervous to say that.
He was like, wait a second, I'm gonna get
You
chastised
had to
for
think about
this.
it. You had to think about it.
Machine Gun Kelly is something that's in itself.
It wasn't bad.
It
though.
wasn't bad. I
It
mean,
wasn't
I've
bad.
heard better. Don't get me wrong. I've heard better.
Definitely
yes.
heard worse.
Yes,
Definitely heard worse.
Yes.
How often do y'all practice?
Almost
A
every
lot.
night.
I practice every day. I'm
Together?
Sure no, not necessarily every day. Probably
We used
about
to.
3
used to
times,
practice
4
at
times
least.
a
Yeah,
week.
Lazy as fuck.
we get together as a group about
We need
about
video.
we get together about 3 times a week.
Okay.
About 3 or
Working on
4,
it.
yeah.
How do y'all make songs?
We just get together.
So basically,
just jam
I have this
sessions?
idea that comes in my head, and we just build off of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes Gage has this idea that comes in his head, and he builds off of them. See, what doesn't really work for us is writing lyrics first and then trying to put music to it. It's really difficult because I have like 2 full songs, like full lyrics written out on my phone right
And
now.
you can't do anything.
And
with
I
it.
cannot figure out
Yeah.
what I want to do. Now, if I sat down long enough and was like, okay, all right, what am I going to sing this in? Okay, well, this is my scale. Let's see what I can do on this.
See, but what I do for that, like, is I have, because in my phone I have notes, and you can just scroll for hours of, like, just lyrical notes, like, one-line stuff, whole song stuff.
Yeah, same.
You know?
Ditto.
And it's like, you can pretty much, I mean, because they're just words, like, you
Are
can
we
take
comparing?
them and put them in. You can make them
Are we
fit.
comparing?
Yes.
I
this
mean,
is a
do you want
competition.
to?
You're probably gonna beat me.
I'm gonna whip it out, bro.
Mine
He said, look, 100.
what app do you use?
My Samsung Notes app.
I use OneNote.
I don't know
'Cause
why
I can
y'all were
sync it to
talking
my
about that.
computer.
Like, how do you make
Oh,
your
really?
music? I
Yeah,
was thinking of
OneNote,
that episode
like,
of South
just-
Park.
Yeah, you have more than me because like I
am Lord,
I have
Lord,
Word on my
Lord,
computer.
Lord.
So what I end up doing is like for OneNote it syncs to my computer, so I'm able to
Right.
copy. I'm able to copy it from the note and throw it on my Word.
Right.
So I can
Okay.
edit. But like I have,
It's a good idea, Brennan. We should, like, grab
yeah, I
that.
have like a crap ton
Right,
of
that's why I was
notes,
like,
ideas
what?
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And so I love that just because OneNote syncs to everything. I'm like,
Right.
fuck, it's so easy.
And you write books, right? Yeah. So I mean,
I know.
we write.
Yeah, it's a struggle, especially staring at the blank paper.
I
Fuck.
am not creative. Just to put that out there.
He likes to build stuff with wood.
Yeah.
Not wolf and trees.
What?
Not wolf
Oh.
and trees.
Wait.
No.
I don't know.
There's only one. There's only yeah. See, you understand.
Okay.
Wait.
You're too young. It's okay.
Dude, I was born in 2009.
I'm talking about penis.
Oh, dude, I know what that is.
I just found
I
mine.
know him technically with that. I know him technically with that. So.
Your greatest creation.
Well,
He said that.
Got him. That's it.
next.
So, are y'all working on that album? 'Cause
Yes.
well, okay, let's back up. You
Oh,
just
yeah,
did a
let's
single, correct?
Wait.
Alright.
Wait. We gotta back way up.
Okay.
Well, I want to talk about
When did y'all form the band?
Okay.
Ooh,
All right. This
that's
is a
a
long
lo-
story.
Ooh.
All right, Dave, shut up for a second.
Alright,
You
I'm
come
gonna
in
go.
when you
I'm,
come in.
okay, I'm gonna go grab something to drink while I.
Because I was thinking about it
you
earlier. I'm
come
like,
in.
I don't even know the origins of
You
all
come
that.
in when you come in.
I will come in
You
when I
come in
come.
when you come in.
He said, wait a minute.
You fucking.
I need a drink.
All right. Where do we start? So
the beginning.
It actually starts with him and.
Jacob.
Can we talk about this? No. Goes back further than that.
Me and Snoop?
Yeah, but like.
Snoop Dogg?
Yeah,
Snoop
It was supposed to be like this heavy collab,
He's
bro.
in everything. He has a game show now. Wait, is that still on?
I don't know.
He works with Martha Stewart.
Oh, she a savage.
So I mean, like, this was a while back. Like, you and Snoop formed like this little like y'all wanted to do music. Like y'all were like wanting to do music and all that. And me and Snoop went to school together for a long
Yeah,
time.
no, this started in freshman year of high school.
This for
For
me, y'all.
for
It started
me.
a while back, and then like I remember in driver's ed, me and Snoop took driver's ed together,
He really is called Snoop.
and she
Alexis.
done.
Alexis Dunn.
Why does that sound familiar?
She went to St.
You
Thomas.
probably know who she is.
She goes to Southeastern right now.
I just dumb sounds more familiar than
It's your baby
Alexis
mama.
together. But
Well,
you don't know about.
we were in like driver's ed, and then somehow or another we got on conversation of music, and I had like this song I recorded a few years before that with a friend.
That song slaps, by the way.
No, it doesn't. And then like she was like, "Can I hear it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And she was like, "Yo, like this is a weird question, but do you want to join me and my friend's band?" And I'm like,
He said, "Fuck those niggas."
And then like I was just like, "Yeah, man, I'll think about it, whatever." And then Brennan like DM'd me on Instagram. It was like, "Hey man, you know I don't really know who you are or anything." We probably still have those DMs floating around somewhere.
No, that was on my old Instagram account.
Wait, you had another Instagram account?
Bro, yeah.
Anyway,
You guys switched it up.
I'm saying.
Do you not pay attention to your friends' cadence?
Wow.
Shut up.
Thank you, Gabe.
Internet.
So, Brennan like just kept like asking me all the time about it. Like, yeah, I'll do something with y'all, fine. And then
Because I don't
We
take
didn't
no for
really-
an answer.
we didn't ever really do anything, to be fair. And then like I was walking around the mall with one of my friends, and then he was walking, and then Brennan's like, he was like 5'4" at the time,
Yeah, I didn't grow that much.
and then I mean like I was probably 5'11",
you still look 5'4".
5'10".
5'8" now, man. So like,
Don't
get on my level.
I don't want to be that low.
Oh snap!
Mark had a bad day.
So,
I did.
For the record, Mark just spit drink out of his
Right.
nose.
It's all over the computer.
A little bit.
So like me and Brennan became friends that way, and it was really weird because I was walking behind him, I'm like, "Brennan," and he was like,
Gabe? I mean, Gabe.
"Nope, it's Kate."
the story yet.
I didn't meet Gabe yet.
So that's where me and Brennan's friendship started. A few years passed, we still didn't do anything, and then we formed this group called One Way Avenue.
Well, first
And-
it was 9 Fathoms Deep.
Yeah, it was 9 Fathoms Deep. And then we had I know,
damn.
bro, went back forever ago.
Holy.
And well, we had to change the name because we did our research,
Some
and there was
asshole had it
another
before us.
band named 9 Fathoms Deep, and so we changed it to One Way Avenue. And at this point, we had this guy named Jacob Phillips playing with us. He was a bassist, awesome bassist, and we did that for a while. We wrote our most popular song, Deep Waters, as One Way Avenue, and with him. And what year was that?
Oh, 2015?
Nope, that was 16
That
because
had to
that's
be
when the
somewhere-
floods happened.
That was
I was
before
gonna
you
say-
were there?
I was here. I was.
Okay. Before.
Okay, before you were.
Yeah,
I
Gage
wrote-
is new.
He's just like, fuck y'all.
I kind of was for a long time.
Gage?
Okay,
Like, in
Gage
Gage's
hated
defense,
me
though-
for a long
Wait,
time.
no, hold on.
In Gage's defense, Gage was in a lot of different music shit. In
I
high
still
school.
am.
Well, I'm saying like even then though, like I remember like after, well no, just like after school
You
he was
peasants.
like you were in that jazz thing for a while, you were in that other band. I was like it was just constant. I'm like I can't even keep up with this dude anymore.
Yeah.
We were in a band for
He's
like
also Lord.
2 weeks.
Wait, what?
You
I said he's
Lord.
also Lord.
Yeah.
I am Lord. Yeah.
I fucking love Lord.
I believe it.
I fucking love
It's
Lord.
fucking Randy.
Anyway.
Well, so Jacob left. No,
Yeah.
Snoop left.
No, Jacob left.
Jacob left, right? Jacob left, then Snoop left, and me and Brent were like, well, what do we do? And then Jacob was like, all right, I'll keep doing stuff with y'all. And then Snoop came back, Jacob left again, and then
He
Snoop,
joined the Air Force.
Yeah. Well, Snoop's like got really serious for
Traitor.
school.
Fucking serve your country, you ungrateful piece of shit. Like that.
So like Snoop like got really serious with school, so we like took a hiatus for like a year,
Yeah,
Or
they
two.
came back.
however long it
So
was.
Snoop got serious with school.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like Snoop.
Well, see, that's why Snoop isn't in this project. We'll get to that. Let me get there.
I don't know who
Oh,
Snoop
we got
is.
it.
It doesn't sound like
He's not even who it is, but
Hold on. Be careful.
No, it's okay. So like, so we took this hiatus, and then they started forming this band called Rufus Bankston,
that mean
and they had a guy named Will singing, and
we had a who was the other? Joe. It was
Joe.
Joe. We had
was
Joe
good
playing
on
bass.
So like they told me about it. I'm like, cool man, yeah, good luck, because I stepped away from it all. I was like, you know what, I got other stuff I need to focus on, because like I had businesses I was running, I had everything happening, because like I lost my dad in 2015, my mom committed suicide in 17. It was around that time, so I was like, I need to focus on other things. Y'all like good luck with everything, have fun. And then they hit me up a few weeks later and they're like, hey, do you want to record Deep Waters and sing for it? I'm like, yeah, because like I love that song. That song means so much to me. And yeah, we did that, and then like after we recorded that song, I was like, all right, yep, I'm back. And then Joe and Will kind of phased out. We ran with Rufus Bankston for a while. We had a guy named Nick playing bass for us
Nick
for a
Williams.
show.
He was in
Nick.
questions.
Go to Nick.
He was,
Yeah.
he was in questions.
Drummer
Yeah.
for questions?
Yeah.
So he played bass for us for a show, and he practiced with us for a little bit.
For like a week, yeah.
And old Gage decided
Gage
he wanted
came
to
back.
come around.
No, it was perfect timing because
So-
he just got back from Oregon.
Yeah,
Right.
I had been in Oregon for about a year, and I was literally like taking 2 weeks on a road trip coming back home, and they hit me up asking if I would come play bass. And at the time, I was like, that's not really the style of music I like, but I was like, I want to get back into playing music because it had been like, I think I went like 2-3 years not playing anything. So they hit me up and asked if I wanted to be a part of it, and I was like, you know what, I'll come, I'll fill in for whatever shows y'all got coming up, get me back into the scene and everything. So that's what I did. I played shows with them, and then we started writing some new shit, and I started liking it. Because like at first I was like, y'all dropped that EP right before I went to Oregon.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I was so proud of y'all, but at the same time I was like, I don't like this type of music.
I got you.
But the stuff we're writing now, it's like,
It better.
yeah,
It's a lot more complex.
yeah, it's fun
It's
to
like, I
play.
upgrade
Playing
you
with,
from
playing
peasants.
with, playing with these guys is fun.
Gage is like, now that I'm a part of the writing, phenomenal.
I mean, I don't mean to flex, but it's totally.
So I mean, like, so Rufus Bankston did well for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we
were
had
getting
some
booked.
good
We were
memories.
getting a lot of shows and stuff.
We were building a fan base. We were definitely playing shows. We started writing some new stuff, and Snoop was like, "Hey, school's starting back, and I need to focus on school." And we were like, "Cool, we respect that. We're not mad at you. We're just gonna let you know that hey, like, we're just gonna start another project, and until you get ready to do stuff again, this is what we're gonna do." And I mean, honestly, this has kind of consumed life right now with
Yeah.
writing this new album. We're like 6 songs in to a 10-song album, so we're it's definitely a very never-ending, ongoing process of writing music. And even after this album is done, like, we still want to continue to write. I mean, like with Rufus Bankston, we played a lot of covers at our shows, and
Yeah,
which
we
is
only
cool.
played 3 original songs.
Yeah, 'cause that's all we had. And
We had 4, but the fourth one was written by
By
dude that
Will.
wasn't even in their
Yeah.
band anymore.
So like we couldn't.
He owes some feelings, man.
No, because the thing was every time we played a show, we had one dude.
We Cat Lives
Play
Matter.
Cat Lives Matter! And we're like, we can't.
Cat lives matter.
That's what it was
Yeah,
called,
That's
Cat
the
Lives
name of the
Matter.
song.
Y'all want to show it to him?
Can we just...
Can we not?
We don't have to. Anyway,
Basically, it's...
Well, if you look up the EP on Spotify or something, just listen to Deep Waters and nothing else.
yeah, just leave it at that one.
I'm telling you now, if you go look up the EP, you have to promise me that you will only listen to Deep
I can't
Waters
promise you
and
anything.
no
He
other
said, I'm not
part.
even
Well, I
gonna
mean,
look
like,
it up.
look. Only like actually listen to Deep
I'm pretty
Waters.
sure after
just
this
kind of
pod-
laugh at other things.
After this podcast, I'm looking up Cat Lives Matter. And I'm finding something.
Hey, look.
We're gonna call this episode Cat Lives Matter.
Hey,
No, I'm gonna call it the band.
the band.
The band that made Cat Lives Matter.
Yeah, and I mean, the decision came about with Home Field Advantage to stay in a 3-piece is like we had another guy named Matt, which is the guy who actually produced our EP with Rufus Bankston. He joined and he came to 2 practices and stuff was going great. Like everything was going really
Like
well.
we felt like we were finding our sound and everything, and we were really like finding the pieces and shit.
Yeah,
but
he had to
just-
back out because he's a jazz musician and he plays with a singer in New Orleans and they're kind of busy a lot.
Yeah.
So
And,
I
like,
get it. I'm not mad.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, like it's business at that point.
Hey,
Like,
I found that out a lot too. Like a lot of people jumping back and forth because they're also looking for their sound.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It happens.
And
pretty
Matt
often.
contributes so much to the band and our sound. Like he really completed what we were looking for. And it sucks.
I think just having him there for those 2 practices, regardless of whether or not he were to stay, I think just having him there really kind of like opens
Yeah.
some eyes to some.
And
things
I mean,
that we're
I
able
think
to
we
do.
all appreciate him just giving us the time that he did give us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, because
It
it
was
helped us out a
definitely a
lot.
good time.
We figured out 2 songs entirely how we wanted to
It was like
structure
one
and
night we
everything.
figured
Right.
it out just from him being there, just from his
And,
show. Like
we
showing us
wrote
his
one whole
parts.
song in that same night.
Right.
With like off just off one I had a few ideas off of it, but like he indefinitely me and him
But
sat
I mean, we
there.
made that shit like really fucking quick,
Yeah, I
man.
know.
Like,
But I
Yeah.
think
Cocaine's a
RIP.
hell of a drug.
Rip.
shh.
So I kind of want to talk about Apricot Sunday for a second.
Go for it.
So
Hey, that's the boys, man.
That's the
me.
boys.
That's the boys.
so
Shout out Apricot.
we were playing for Rufus Bankston. We were supposed to have a show at Wharton's Green Room in Covington.
No.
What?
No.
That all got fucked up.
No,
We were
no,
supposed
no,
to,
no.
We were supposed to play the
We
Babylon.
we thought we had a show at the Babylon, but the show was at
yeah.
the Green Room.
Anyways,
So
everything
honestly, this fact has not left the band. By the way, this was just something we kind of kept between each other about us forgetting about. No, we told everybody the show got canceled, but
played
Gage,
it
take it away from here.
It did not
So
get canceled.
we told everybody the show got canceled, but there were some communication issues with members of the band and
People who booked us.
people who booked us and things like that. So ultimately, we thought we were supposed to play it in Covington, and we called the venue to ask them what time they wanted us there for sound check, and they were like, "What?" And we were like,
They're like,
had
there's no
no
live bands
band.
playing tonight.
and we were like, "What?" So we were like, "Fuck! Well, what are we gonna do now?"
To be fair, we thought the booking agent like lied to us and like,
Yeah.
just played us out by
Yeah.
like telling us we had a show we never did. We're like,
Right.
man, you know what? Screw that.
So
dude.
we were like,
we're
whatever,
gonna
so-
throw our own show.
Yeah, so we decided to throw a house show. And
minute.
Last minute, and ironically, Caden had asked me, he's like, Gage, do you know of any bands that would be able to play? And I had just followed a band on Instagram out from Baton Rouge, and I was like, you know what? Let me hit
Like
him up.
minutes before.
Minutes before he came and
beforehand.
picked me up, and so I shot them a message, and it was like a long message, kind of like, about a paragraph long, being like, hey, look, this is who I am. I play bass for this band. This is the situation. This is what we're doing. Would you be down to play? And they literally just sent back what time, and I'm like,
Does that mean yes? That was my response because Gage was like, they just said what time, and I'm like, so does that mean yeah?
so
That's a yeah.
so they came out. They're more emo punk. They're a little harder than the stuff that we're writing. But they came out, and they
played
that was
before y'all?
actually that was actually the first time they'd ever played in front of people.
yeah,
So,
besides
yeah.
themselves.
And they did a fucking awesome job.
Yeah, they really did.
We all had a fun fucking time
I
that
did not.
night.
I got plastered.
So that show.
I got so plastered I could not play drums. Okay.
So Brennan was walking like this. Brennan, I found him in a car, and he was like trying to crank it. I'm like, Brennan, where are you going? And he was like, I'm Brennan, just do it right quick. I'm like, no, you're not. We're about to play. Come on. Brennan
Yeah.
gets out the car, shuts the door, and walks to the drum set like this.
But anyways,
I can imagine you so pissed off at this
Y'all
motherfucker.
y'all officially became a rock.
I did not live that down for at least a month.
Oh, yeah.
Every time,
It was
every
bad.
time I got a call, he'd be like, "Yeah, you cannot drink anymore." And I'm like, "Dawg, it was one time. I'm sorry. All right, I know my living now
So-
why are you drinking right now?
because I'm not playing
Because
drums."
So y'all know the
As far
meme.
as you know.
You know the meme.
Oh shit!
You know the
Here's
meme
some
of
pencils.
animation. The guy walking the thing. He's like held by the leash and the thing's bouncing around like this. It's when y'all help me out. You know what I'm
I
talking
don't
about?
know.
I have no idea
Wait,
what
there's
the
a
fuck
meme.
you're
That's the
talking
only thing I
about.
can think about. I'll find it and I'll send it to y'all, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah."
So,
That's
anyways,
what he was talking about.
Until then, you look
so
stupid.
they come out.
Right.
So they come out and they do a fucking awesome job, and they're now like our band and their band were like band best friends, you know.
That's like our sister band
Yeah.
right now.
And so anyways, they didn't have a bass player, so I'm also playing bass with them, and they've got some shows coming up. I think
They got Freak
yeah,
Fest
we've got
coming
Freak
up.
Fest in Lafayette
We got
for that.
Yo, wasn't there supposed to be one on the 28th?
Hey, we got
Not with
they got one
they've got one.
this
So-
16th of October, man.
Oh,
October
yeah.
16th.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta plug that in a
be
minute.
shouting y'all's performances
See,
out
that's the
first.
thing.
We're
Wait, hang on.
getting there, we're
Hang on,
getting
wait,
there.
that's the
No,
thing.
like they're amazing, really. In fact, they're playing these things.
But anyways, no. So like
Thought about being an agent?
that's kind of no. So we do have a show coming up October 16th.
October 16th. It's a Wednesday night.
It's
Get
a
over
Wednesday
it.
night, but like,
Fuck
come
y'all.
on now. Like, you can go to class hungover the next morning. We've all done
You've
it.
done it before.
But no, we're having. It's gonna be Apricot Sunday, so I'll
What's
be
the
playing
weather
with.
look like?
Huh?
Partly cloudy.
No, temperature wise.
Like very humid.
If it hits over
Oh, I
80,
can't.
Nah, so it's gonna be Apricot Sunday, home field advantage, which is us. If you haven't caught on to that already,
Twin
That-
span.
Twin Span I think is.
They're coming out for an acoustic
Yeah,
set.
they're coming.
They're
They're,
opening the
they're
night.
opening with an acoustic set, and then Hey Thanks is supposed to be there as well.
Yeah, shout out Hey Thanks too, by the
And
way.
yeah,
That's the boys. That's been the boys for
yeah,
a long
that's the
time.
boys too.
Hey Thanks played Warped Tour 2016 when it came to New Orleans. They opened the day, and it was really, really cool because like they were just like me, Brennan, and Snoop.
Yeah, we
and
actually got to
all
hang
that.
out with them, which was really cool and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We walked around with them all around Warped Tour for like an hour. Then they just was like, all
I
right.
felt like big dogs.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be at the Nightcap in
And
Hammond.
Hammond. It's Nightcap Pool Hall and Eatery.
You know,
Yeah, it's like it's kind of you'll
I
miss it.
gotta say, y'all been naming some places. I'm like, that's real.
I mean, just Google it, you'll find it. But
Yeah,
like,
if you Google the Nightcap but with a K for cap instead of a
Nightcap,
C,
yeah.
you'll find it. It's in Hammond.
It's like right by
What
the
time is
house.
that supposed to be happening?
So the doors are gonna open at 9. Show starts at 10.
That's the 16th, or that's the
16th.
This the 16th, yeah, of October. I don't know if if we're doing a cover or not for that show. Probably will. It will be a costume party.
Yeah,
though.
we're
Yeah,
trying to do
yeah.
a costume party.
It's also a Halloween
So
theme,
y'all
so,
gonna dress up?
you can.
Yeah,
hell
I'm
yeah.
going as Willy Wonka, like Johnny Depp Willy Wonka, because I work at Dillard's.
Oh, can I do it? Can I be an Oompa Loompa?
Sure. And I have a burgundy suit, and I wore it one day, and the lady who works in the camera room called the phone, and she said, "Hey, Willy Wonka," and I'm like,
Elmo's
"What?" And when I
touchy.
seen her later, she was like, "You never seen what Willy Wonka wore and the new one?" And I'm like, "I guess I'm not like, maybe not. I
I'm
don't
not
know."
up to date, I
And then
guess.
she showed me a picture, so like, you know what? I'm running with it. That's what I'm being for Halloween.
You gotta get that little bob cut. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just gonna get a wig.
Yeah, well,
My hair doesn't grow that fast.
But I was about to say, what are you gonna be the blueberry chick? Y'all gonna dress up as everything.
I'm probably not even
That's
gonna
a
dress
cool-
up.
We know
You
you're
have
not
to.
Oompa Loompa,
That's
that's why you
probably
didn't ask.
not.
That's what I'm already saying. Like I already know. Like I'm Oompa Loompa now.
Loompa doopity-dee.
Give y'all
I play music.
fuck around and give me a mic on the drum
Just you
set, and
wait,
I'm gonna do
pussy.
that all night. Oompa Loompa. That's it. Shut the
Yeah,
fuck up, Brendan.
you gotta come up with a good rhyme for that on that day. You gotta do a little Oompa Loompa
So we're
thing.
trying to have this whole album written by the 16th, so we can play
Yeah.
it.
Say psych right
I'll
now.
really-
How's that coming along, though?
Okay, we'll be
It's
able
coming.
to.
It's
It's coming
coming.
along. I actually think we can do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
we
get-
definitely
we
have
get
enough
together-
for a 30-minute set.
Yeah,
now.
we get together 3 times a week. We can pull together a 30-minute
Yeah.
set by the time that comes up.
That's like a month away. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little less than a month.
Have y'all
away.
made like any money off any of the stuff yet?
Yes.
I mean,
um,
Rufus Banks and stuff.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
not Home Field Advantage. This is brand new. Like,
Like,
this
we-
is
yeah,
like
we just started
a
this
month
stuff.
and a half old.
Some
Like,
of your
this
older
is
stuff you're
pretty
still
new.
making money off of?
We made money off of shows.
Off of shows.
I don't
Like
really know how to
places.
answer that because
Got anybody
somebody
anything on
has
iTunes?
somebody has our DistroKid account that's not us, and we don't know. So which is no big
Yeah.
deal.
So they're making money. Like,
Maybe. Who knows?
It might not be anything. It might be like $1.
I'm saying they might make like $2.
Hey, that could be a pretty dollar.
You'd be
Yeah, I
surprised.
mean,
Big dollar bob's that hot and spicy at McDonald's.
And I mean, but that's you know, the importance of coming out and supporting local musicians, though. You know, which is kind of the big thing. You know, I mean, all of your
Especially
favorite.
in Louisiana.
All
We
of
do
your
that a lot.
favorite musicians that are big right now were all local musicians at one
Correct.
point in time. All of the greats were at one point in time local musicians.
Better than ever.
You know.
Not Post Malone.
straight out of New Orleans.
Hey, Post Malone started on SoundCloud.
I like better than
You
ever.
know.
Post Malone had an overnight success, but we're not talking about that.
But I mean, but that's like,
You know his dad works for the Cowboys. Huh?
I really
Yeah.
does he?
Yeah, his dad works for the
I don't pay attention to
Dallas
pop
Cowboys.
music.
I don't know what
Tidbit
he did,
news.
but-
That's what.
But no, I really like kind of what we've done so far with like how we're friends with local groups in the area. It's like a small, it's like a family almost.
It's like a,
we've
poly-
got-
a polygamy.
Who?
Polygamy. I couldn't get it out for a second.
I thought you were about to say Pelosi. Like,
When,
Yeah.
when's Polygamy playing?
Polythia?
Polythia. I love
Polygamy
Polythia.
as a band name.
So, I mean, like, the idea of it is kind of like we're all friends at this point, and whoever gets the jump before the other, we kind of just bring each other up
Yeah,
and help
we're
support
not.
each
It doesn't
other.
feel like we're competing with
It's
any of
definitely
the
not
other
a
local
competition,
bands.
and local music should never be a competition.
definitely
Actually,
not.
we
It should be a
we brought
thing.
that up with some other guys
Yeah,
before.
because we was telling when we had like two rappers on, it was like, you know, rock is a lot different because rock, I feel like there's more of a family versus rap. They're like trying to compete for that spot.
Yeah,
Right. They're
Because
always trying to tear each
like
other
you
down
said,
and stuff.
you're helping this other band out with the bass, and I'm like, because y'all more willing to collab with each
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
and having one big jam sets versus rappers like, fuck you,
Right.
I got that verse.
right.
It's like a
and
rap battle.
that's I don't know. I think about that a lot. Is the fact that like it really does not feel like we're competing with
And it
any
shouldn't.
of the other local bands. It really
Yeah,
feels like we're
'cause you
just
can-
helping
you
each
can
other
like more
grow.
than one.
I'm
I'm
gonna
saying
need
just
you to
no
stop
rules
doing
saying
that.
We
you
went,
can't
we
like
went to
Slowly
Republic
pushing
with,
me.
with Christian, huh? Huh? I said we went to Republic with Christian.
Oh yeah, they had another band from Covington called Revelation. Revelation.
Revelation.
Cut
Cut that out.
Cut that out.
Anyway, we went. Yeah, you don't have to.
Wait, what was it? I'm sorry.
Don't worry about
He
it.
was messing up the name. He didn't know what the name was.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait,
we,
no.
went, we went out with this dude like to a show at Republic because like I produce EDM music, and we like go to the show sometimes.
No, he doesn't.
He's lying.
Okay, he produces EDM music.
Wait, what?
I'm waiting for something here because
Your face is saying, wow, we really do need video. It's like his face had a whole nother conversation while his mouth was saying something different.
yeah.
I'm just roasting him.
Who's Fiction Theory?
That's Fiction.
That's the
Fiction
band
Theory
you
is the
played with in
band.
Texas.
Yeah, they're out in Dallas. I played with.
Okay,
That's the
okay,
band I
okay.
drove out to Dallas to play
I
with.
got a list. Who else we can even know?
No. Somebody followed us on the Instagram thing.
Oh.
And I was trying to figure out that's a band, but I can't remember who
that's,
that is.
That's them. I played
Okay.
You
with them.
forget anybody.
I'm
telling
we
you.
need to plug the home.
That's
They're gonna listen to this and like, these motherfuckers forgot with us.
right.
Some band out there would be really upset.
We're gonna be getting a lot of unfollows tomorrow.
Hey, Everyday Addiction. We gotta shout those homies out too.
Yeah, because they won't follow us. This.
No, we played a show with them, and they were just really cool, down to earth people.
Yeah.
And they
How often y'all get shows?
I mean, we haven't had shows since we started this project because we don't have music really to
Right.
play yet.
Yeah,
We were doing
refuse.
shows just about every other weekend.
Yeah.
Or it felt like.
2 or 3 shows a month, probably,
Yeah.
for sure.
Not, but like back to the.
I'm just
whole-
here. I don't
One of
know.
y'all was always shaking your head like, no. Like, they're full of shit.
Someone's lying.
It's like a weird game.
I know, I'm trying. I'm watching, but I'm like, oh,
lying?
you're shaking heads. Waiting for them all to shake their head at the same time. Fuck.
Are we supposed to guess? What? So y'all.
So we're gonna play 2 truths and a lie.
Homies say, how many shows you play? Guess.
Okay.
Said
I
an
forgot
interview,
what we
not
were
a quiz
talking
show.
about.
Yeah, I've forgotten what we were talking about now.
I just like we started plugging out all the other bands. I forget
talking-
about
Because
us.
I love them.
We was talking about y'all writing for a second there, and then
and everything just went off the.
Yeah.
You were telling the story of the
We're
band.
having a good time.
No,
You got
we
to a
finished
certain
that.
point, and then
Oh.
you're. Oh, that's what I'm saying. You
I think
got
I
to a
finished
certain
that
point,
story.
Yeah, we were done.
I feel like I did.
And that's what I'm
It's
continuing.
just soon got busy with school. We
I said
started
you were
this
talking
podcast.
about the
so now
story
we're
of the
doing
band.
this.
I wasn't done. I said you were talking about the story of the band. Then you started talking about the project you were working on, and then that went into when you're playing again. But you said that this is a new project, so y'all don't have music yet. And then you said you were telling us more about you hope to be done with the project.
Right.
They start shouting out.
See, I was paying attention.
You know, that's your record, man.
Hey, yo, shout out to John.
No, he's not always like that. Sometimes
Nope.
there's one time like
That was a weird moment of clarity.
one of the podcasts, like he kept bringing up these Latino chicks that his wife's related to, showing it to our guests. He's like, but look at her. We'll be in the middle of a different context.
Like
He's like,
Han or
hey,
something. Like,
Come on, let's see. What are you doing?
you started him. Look at you.
It's too late, son.
He did it for a whole hour. He kept going. Look at her.
It was about relationships. The dude is single, and I was like, well, you know.
Don't
He was
speak
just
a
trying to be a
lick
good
anyways.
wingman.
So-
He was trying to be a good wingman.
And
So-
I was.
We're hoping to have all of our original music done by the 16th for this show, and I think we can get it done. The way we're working together and how quickly everything's coming together.
So who sings J-pop? I thought Gage would be like, of course.
that's
me,
what
like-
me and Gage went.
I thought Gage would be like, yeah, like that's a regular for me.
He's like, why is that a question?
It's funny because you were talking about like cookie cutter bands, and that's the first thing I thought of. Like, you mean like K-pop? It just mass manufactured.
Baby metal?
Baby metal.
Dude, I showed my wife that.
Yo,
I said, it was so
opening
really
for them?
funny.
I have no
Who's
idea.
opening for Baby Metal that like should not be opening? What's that?
I think Chan opened, or they opened for Chan one time. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Somebody's opening that should not be opening for Baby Metal. That's all.
Creed. That's it.
I think it's Bring Me the Horizon.
I think it is. 'Cause you told me about it.
I think it's Bring Me the Horizon. Anyway, next question.
That does make a little sense. Like they
Did it. Look at her.
he'll be preoccupied with this for the rest of the episode.
I've
He's
checked
gonna be
out-
like,
I've checked
Does
out
your
her-
wife know that you do this with
That's
people
a
that
cousin.
she's
She
related
wants me
to?
to do it.
Hang on, let me go to the
Not in
bathroom for a
America.
second.
It's a free green card.
Hey, welcome here.
Go for it, man. Do you? Ugh.
Sorry, did I mess up your train of thought?
A little bit.
Train of thought's always messed up.
There is no train of thoughts with us. It's
Just music.
Just
Bam, bam.
He's like, God damn it,
you
Brandon.
can tell he's
Play
a
the drums
drummer.
right.
You can definitely tell he's a drummer. I had a cousin that was like that. Just want to ask.
Matt, and I think we should. Were we talking about the album, like having everything recorded and done by?
So
like,
how many
December-ish?
tracks you plan on having on this album?
10.
Nine-
8 to 10.
8 to 10. Yeah.
8 to 10 because I mean for it to be considered an album there's a minimum of 8. There's no like cap point of what you can call
We might just do
album.
20. Who knows?
We will not. If that's the case, then we're just gonna split that into 2 albums
Just
and
call
just
it
sit on it
cool.
for a minute.
Yeah, I was just
But-
saying, like you know the trend. I don't know if they still do, but the trend used to be you'd have like 1 or 2 tracks that were like, these are good.
Yeah, I mean,
And then they were
Other
like,
tracks.
all right, put some filler in there.
Right. Well,
no, we don't want to think that. We want to think that all of our stuff is good and like,
Yellow
No, I'm saying
Submarines.
like,
but we definitely
I
have our
heard
own
some,
favorites.
I have heard some bands were like, wow, this whole album is great.
right.
We should hold some of this.
Well, and that's kind of, there's another issue right now that's happening in music that's like the album format is kind of dying
Yeah, 'cause
as
iTunes.
well because everybody's just dropping singles.
Yeah, it's just singles
And-
after singles, and when they
Yeah, 'cause
drop
you
an
can just-
album,
you
it's
can
the
upload
songs that were on the
Oh, the
back
single?
burner. They
Post
drop their
Malone?
good music first.
Fucker.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of want to drop my favorite song out of this album first as the single.
Which is
Confession of Self-Reflection?
Yeah.
Confessions, yeah.
These are my confessions.
I want to drop that one as our first single for
I just,
sure.
I just don't
Yeah,
want it to be our
Just
best
to
song
kind of
because
give people something to look forward to and like show them the direction that we're
See,
going.
he
with
He
this
says,
album.
he's like, no,
Do you have
I
a
don't want that
sample?
because they're gonna
My-
look forward
no,
and
no.
be so disappointed.
That's the thing though. My
That's the
problem with
song
that
we
is
played
my problem
before we
with that is
started.
if we release that.
Sample.
I mean, like we can like possibly do an acoustic version if y'all want us to.
Sample? Why not? I don't care.
It's up
We
to
can.
y'all.
Teaser. We'll call it a teaser.
Okay, alright. Y'all just use what y'all want to use. I'm using your guitar again.
250.
In hours.
We don't make money like you guys.
Minute.
You're right. You're right. I'm fucking up. I'm fucking up.
I told you, you're not on this level.
I said, Gage, what song should we practice for this? Nothing. We're not gonna be doing anything.
I
Fuck you,
planning
Gage.
on you.
I mean, I
doing
just
an
said
I
acoustic
didn't think it was
set.
gonna happen
Just
either.
giving people an idea what y'all are about. That's it.
Fuck you, Gage, for doing it. That's it.
All right,
me,
so the drummer Brennan
You
is
want some
actually gonna
buckets,
do our
man?
vocals. I'm not like super familiar with the lyrics.
Yeah,
yet.
I'm lead singer now. I'm the captain.
I got some buckets and boxes. They
I don't know how this is gonna work
what?
with this mic.
They use them for recording.
Yeah, it should
Right,
be.
but
That's
we
just a
don't have set
condenser.
to this.
Oh, it's okay. It'll be cool. I mean, like I said, it's just a sample. I don't expect this to be like track ready.
We fixing to go in the studio? Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, hey, can you send us this too so we can release it tomorrow?
Can you by any chance mix and master this?
No.
Oh.
You almost ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm waiting on
Da.
You gotta come back over here, bud.
I want to stand.
Because the microphone. I mean, you
You're
can. You're welcome to, but like.
Gage is like, I'm just gonna ghost. Gage,
Gage is like.
Gage said, "All right, I'm gonna head out."
Head out. It was good, guys.
I think. All right, so what we'll just play. We'll play the intro, verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, and stop it right there. Is that fine?
Yeah,
That's
just
fine.
go through the first chorus.
come be the conductor.
Hey.
Y'all ready?
Yeah. These streets aren't the same. Time won't turn and faces fade with no one to blame. But my everlasting pain with walls that are made out of tears and regret. My love starts to fade. Nothing was the same. These walls are controlling me with things I can't change. I'm holding tighter, and I want to break out my skin and be the one who gets you higher. And I cannot wait until I can feel this loneliness creep up on me. I cannot wait. Oh, I cannot wait.
That's all we'll do.
And that's it for right now.
Sorry. there's
No more for you.
Missing.
Right.
Like I said, teaser.
I hope that plays well on the podcast.
It'll play well enough.
For the 2 viewers we have.
Yeah, y'all gotta push the shit out of this.
I mean, we did have a mayor candidate come on here.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Oh,
He's like,
wow.
y'all gotta push the shit out of this.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what we brought you on.
Yeah, like, so you didn't know how this worked, did you?
He said no you.
Those goes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
So that's just a little sample, a little teaser, I guess. I mean,
After y'all complete the album, y'all gonna start working on some dates again.
No, they're going to be torn.
oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, definitely.
For sure. I
Definitely
mean,
torn.
it's,
Like-
it's most likely gonna be local shows at first.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of sucks because we're like reworking all the progress we made with other
With
bands that
Rufus
we've been in,
Bankston and-
with like getting exposure and stuff, like getting booked and all that, and now
But see, the good thing
Shut
about
up.
that is we're not doing something we don't know how to do now. Now we know.
Yeah.
Now we know how to
When
do
we
it.
know
It's
the
just kind of
process,
like,
we know
I
the
mean,
game.
we're with what we were doing before, like we said, we only had 3 original songs and we were doing a bunch of covers, and we kind of don't want to do covers anymore. So we want to make sure that we've got all of our original music. So we're more like, we'll play some shows here and there if they come up. Like that's what the
August this.
October, because they have that same sound. So my brain's just like August, but that October 16th show. But right now we're mainly focused on writing and making sure that everything's tight and that everything.
No,
works
I
well
mean, to be
together.
fair, we're not completely against doing covers for like our own shows. We are, but like, so me and Brennan have this huge dream within the next year to get booked for an emo night at Republic because we
right.
love emo night, and that whole
But that's
night,
a given that you're gonna do.
that whole
covers on
night's
that
pretty
night,
much
so.
like all your early 2000, early 2010 like emo music, and it's all cover based. Now we can sneak some of our own songs in there.
Right, you can do
But,
like one or
like,
two originals, but
yeah.
you can't do too many.
But isn't that like I Prevail or fuck, who's that has that big cover song that they fucking hate? They wish they never did. It's a rock band. I just can't remember who.
What's the song they covered?
Fuck if I remember. I remember hearing that interview. They're like, we fucking hate it. I'm like, okay, I will make it a point not to listen to it. You know, it's my favorite song by y'all. I'll make it. Every time they went to the concert, they're like, okay, we got this new. No, play this.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not even. No, just play it.
Play
Yeah.
It's so much better when you do it.
They said, we're not doing that no more.
No, I'm sorry. I Prevail doesn't have that. I Prevail had the jar where they at the concert they had a jar at the back and said, if you want us to play Scars, tip us right now. So everyone put money in the jar.
Well, I mean, that's how bands make. That's how bands are making money. Like,
Yeah.
you know, especially independent bands. Like, no one's really making money off of album sales or anything like that. I mean, like with streaming services, like
It's hard.
Streaming
with the way-
services have honestly saved the music industry as far as money goes.
But see,
you get,
the thing, my problem with it is even if like I subscribe to Spotify and I'm paying that monthly subscription, my money is not going directly to the bands that I listen
no,
to.
it's going to Spotify,
It's-
but Spotify
and then
does.
Spotify
Sends it out.
Sends it
on
out.
the percentage and then.
But you got to think about it
Also
though.
gives
So
them control.
you had
They can
album
get
sales.
but
You had albums
it
like
will make you famous.
you had your hard copy albums. So we'll just go through the issues in the music industry with making money off your music, selling it. So originally you had CDs. I'm not going any further back
I
than
was
that.
like, originally we had CDs.
No, but
From his
so-
beginning.
well, I think we
Since
had
I was a
I think we had
fan.
cassette tapes whenever I was a wee little lad.
I
But
had
A wee little baby.
anyway, so when you get a CD, you upload the music off the CD, you burn it, you make a new CD out of it, you distribute that to your friends and say, "Oh man, check out this mixtape. This is a whole bunch of songs that I like."
I did that.
Right. Okay.
I made money
After
off
that era came about, Apple Music. Well, you had iTunes. It was iTunes. Then you had like LimeWire and FrostWire. Okay.
Wait,
So-
you got that flipped.
Frostwire and LimeWire.
No, but all that was before iTunes.
Well, yeah. It was you. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
iTunes
I'm going
was
in a
there, it was just-
chronological.
It still wasn't. It wasn't big.
Well, LimeWire and all that was out. Like Apple didn't even have an iPhone yet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but
right.
iTunes was on the computer still.
Yeah, but
Anyway-
they weren't selling. They didn't have the iTunes sharing platform yet. You had to like put in your MP3 straight from your computer, and you didn't buy them from Apple yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought
irregardless,
iTunes
you had all these your pirate websites where you pirated your music from for free, risk you getting your viruses or whatever. So that stole money as well from the musicians.
Yeah.
Now we're all guilty of it, even though we're musicians.
That's back when Metallica was like super pissed.
Right. So
Ah, the good old Metallica and Napster bullshit.
I mean, come on now. Tool like refused to be on
That's
that.
why
There you
the
go.
original iTunes, you paid the fee and stuff.
Which I
like
think
that.
was genius because now that they came out on the internet, everyone's like, boom!
Yeah,
Taylor
yeah.
Swift's like, who the fuck is Tool?
well, I mean, like after that era died, it never really died until recently, to be honest with you, because people just streamed it some type of way, but never paid anything for it, so the artists weren't making any money. The only way they were making money was like off of a YouTube partnership if their videos were monetized.
That's what they changed it to now was the free converters from YouTube to make it on your phone.
Yeah, so then that happened, and now it's kind of saving the industry in a sense with these streaming platforms because granted you're not making as much money as you would have because
then,
Spotify makes most of the money, but they do still pay you, so there is revenue based off of that at this
Still
point.
worry about their control over it though.
Yeah,
It's
Well, that's
giving-
why-
it's
I mean,
giving
at
them-
any
it's giving
point-
them a lot of
at
power
any
over
point
it.
we willingly post that on their stuff. At any point I'm sure they could not give
Well,
money.
that's why Jay-Z did the whole title.
And is that doing well?
Yeah.
It is.
It was at one point.
It was, but then like
Did it
I don't
decline?
think it's doing it well anymore because of the fact that everything that was
like trying to
only
topple 'em out.
exclusively on title is now on Spotify and Apple.
Well, see, I know
Right.
they were doing real good, and then they had a big decrease
Well, a lot of
and
art,
everything.
yeah.
And
Also,
then,
like Kanye lied about what he was going to do. He's like, "Yeah, I'm only on a title. It's going to be."
Oh no,
And then it came out on
Kanye
Apple.
lied.
Yeah.
Oh.
they're not
And I'm
friends no more.
Kanye West.
And I'm Kanye West.
It came out on Apple first before title. I fucked a lot up.
Anyways, the point is it's like, you know, supporting local music, you've got to go to the shows. Like, you've got to follow the social medias, like the posts, share the stuff. I mean, you know, it's the same with podcast stuff. Like
a lot
it,
of
share
them
it. You
started
know?
doing like the YouTube live stream
Yeah.
shows
Yeah.
and stuff, and what they do there is they get their revenue just from the advertisements.
Right.
Right, right.
So there's a lot of that was kind of the backdoor way to make the extra money,
Right.
fill the gaps.
Make a Twitch account and have one of y'all play, and the other people just play in the background the music. It's really soft.
Playing the game.
While you're playing like
Can't
Fortnite or
concentrate.
something.
We could do that though. Like we could like Twitch live stream
Our
our
practices.
practices
Yeah,
if you wanted to.
we just.
Well,
There's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we say some controversial stuff sometimes.
That's because y'all are fucking stupid.
Even though like, it's a joke, but like sometimes you know.
People
it
don't
just-
understand that. They don't understand we're joking.
I mean, you got like Patreon and a couple other ones. I mean, they got all kinds
Yeah,
of places.
I mean, like
Every time I get
Bandcamp
Patreon,
was
people
big
leave.
for musicians for a while
Right.
too,
I don't
because like, granted, it was a free platform, but you were able to tip the people.
Right, and that was kind of like the pay what you want to pay.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is
show
also
your love,
cool.
you know, help the band out, you know, all that good stuff.
Like I found a band that I really liked, Somali Yacht Club from the Ukraine on Bandcamp.
Somali Yacht
Somali Yacht Club.
That's awesome.
And like that's what I did. Like I bought their shit from Bandcamp, and it was all like pay what you want to pay, and I was like, here's $30.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You had $30 that
I
week.
did.
They're like, we can eat tonight, guys.
This one of the times when it was like, oh my god, we're gonna make it. And it's like Gage was like, yeah, that's the only 30 I had all month.
Well, I've heard people say that because of the way the music industry now is, they have so much power over it
Yeah.
that like everybody gets into it now. They're like, well, this is what y'all are gonna be. We don't want to be that. Well, then you're fucking out.
Yeah.
Like,
It's changed.
And that's
man.
what that's kind of the thing with like, it's really easy to put your music out there now.
Yeah,
But
$20 a year gets
Right.
you on every streaming platform.
Yeah.
now.
yeah, that's like
DistroKid.
us. I mean, we pay a fee and we put our podcast out.
Right.
Same
So-
thing. You do it with music too.
But because it's so easy to just put your music out there, anybody can do
Yep.
it. And now it's
And that's
like,
why everyone's
it's
doing it.
saturated
right,
at this point.
It's saturating the market, and it's like finding something that's unique and finding something that's like ultimately actually good
I think
and
that's-
original. It's like finding a needle in a haystack
Wow.
now.
I think that's what's
I ain't gonna lie, I listen to
starting
old
to
stuff.
kill rock a little bit is because I forget who I was talking to about. I'm like, man, I really haven't heard a recent band now. I'm like, oh man, they sound awesome. Like it's all
It's
the
just-
same, and it's because of that. Because like you have now that anyone can post their music, it's really hard to filter out and excuse my language the shit.
Yeah.
You're not
'Cause-
wrong.
No. Oh, I know. Well, I found some
You're
shit.
not
I'm like,
wrong.
what the fuck is that? And that's all it is. Like really, the whole song.
I feel attacked.
No, it's real, like,
I'm just kidding.
Look it up on YouTube. It's A-I-I-I. And it's like a heavy drum, a slow bass, and this super fast guitar. And he just goes, ah! 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 I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Music.
And it's-
If what,
Do you know-
if
so,
what
like-
does the fox say can make money, y'all can do it.
Oh my god. I thought we were done with that.
You brought it up last band
I
practice.
know, I did. I know. I'm so
Put it in the
sorry.
universe.
I'm so sorry I did. I knew that was a mistake when I said it. I know.
I
I just
brought it
knew
up
it.
because I was showing my wife like all the retarded shit that's come out in the world and it's been done well. So I was like, no, I gotta show you some stuff. Yeah, so you can just imagine what that list consisted of.
Can we do a
I'm
cover
like,
of that
these
song?
people
No.
No.
Never, let me quit playing. That's what Kane would be
You
doing.
started, it's gonna come back to
Yeah,
you.
like don't put it in your head.
So I mean, all right. As outsiders, how would y'all feel about hearing covers from a local band that's making original music?
We got a lot of people around that do that.
I don't
That's a
know.
popular thing in our area
I
because we
personally
got all
don't
these
like
venues down here and a lot of them want covers.
See, and that's the problem. Like that's the problem with a lot of places is it's like they just
You know the
want-
Molly Ringwalds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my brother went to school with them. He knows them. So
Really?
I've been with them on a couple.
Like,
been with them on a couple
I'm-
of things.
But I guess it's different because like I am a musician. It's like when I go to a show, I don't want to hear covers.
Well, that's,
I want to hear your
that's,
original music.
you
If I
remember-
wanted to hear that song, I'd go listen to it.
No,
like,
most of the time it's just filler. Like they use it for filler.
still it aggravates me because I know what you're saying. Because if I'm coming to see a local band, I want to hear local. I
Right.
don't want to hear you.
unless you do the cover like complete in a completely
different way,
original
yeah.
way. It's like let's say like
Stained.
yeah, like you're a certain genre and you take a song from a whole nother genre and you make it sound like
Like
you
the
wrote
whole,
the
the
shit.
whole,
Yeah, like,
the
make-
whole-
Like that's cool. Like
You
go
got to
ahead
put heavy
and do that.
creativity on that. You
Right,
can't
but
just-
like just like if you're a rock band covering rock songs and I go and see you, I don't.
Well, that's
want
like,
to see that.
I forget. He's been in so many different bands. Stevie Mulkey, you remember Charles?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
his
yeah.
dad's in bands, but all he does is covers. He's a singer, and I'm like, Charlie get mad at me. So I was like, why don't you go? I'm like, I went one time and it's cover songs. I mean,
Yeah.
Like,
I
I can
see,
go
like,
on YouTube.
I enjoy watching a bag of donuts though, and that's all cover
Oh,
music.
yeah.
But they put on a good show themselves.
Right. And that's
Like the
that is
costume
another
goes
part of
into
it.
play,
Is like
stage presence and everything's there for them.
But a lot of that sometimes is just to get you out there, because then you're like, wow, they can actually sing and play really well.
Yes, but then if
I
all you
wonder
do is
what
cover songs,
their
I'm-
original
Yeah.
stuff sounds like.
Not necessarily, because like for
I'm
Bag
not
of
saying
Donuts,
always.
like when I went out and saw them, I'm just like, okay, so I'm never gonna look you up.
I would definitely like.
If I hear you playing, like, oh, they're playing here, I'm like, oh, if I got time, I might go to that. But I'm not gonna, like, I don't know, Breaking Benjamin or something like that. Come on, like, I'm gonna go see them. I
Yeah.
got their albums. Like, oh, they dropped the album. I'm playing. Like, I'm gonna listen
Right.
to that. Versus someone who's like not great. It doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah,
It
no,
kind
I
of feels
get
like
that.
someone else telling someone else's story.
Yeah, and see, like in our genre, there was a big thing like Punk Goes Pop.
oh,
That
yeah.
was huge,
Yeah,
and
that
that
was-
boosted a lot of bands' careers.
Yeah.
But what they were doing, they were taking popular music, turning it into their own, putting their own sound and spin on it, and that boosted them. I
What's
would
up,
not be
freshest
opposed to
term,
that.
baby.
For that instance, there's a lot of them that were good because they changed it to their own liking. Like for
Yeah.
instance,
Well, see, fun fact though, that all started out as a huge joke.
Yeah, I
Punk
know.
bands used to cover pop songs as terrible as they could as a joke, and then eventually, like, they started putting it on their albums,
Well, that's
and then
also
it turned into something serious.
really interesting. Like that's kind of how jazz started for the most part. It's like they would take whatever was popular during the time, and then they would just play it live at venues on like saxophones and trumpets and trombones, and that's ultimately how jazz kind of started. Like there's I forget who does it, but there's a famous jazz cover of These Are a Few of My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music, if you've seen that movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my issue with like the whole thing that's going on in the music industry, where it's like, oh, you played 2 notes consecutively and I played those 2 notes consecutively in my song, so I'm going to sue you for it. And like, but like,
there's a percentage that you're
right. But it's like you had jazz artists get famous doing these covers of songs that you had never heard of before. And it's like this whole thing in the music industry of like, oh, I'm going to sue you because you played something that sounded similar. It's not even the same thing. Like the whole Katy Perry thing and whatever that other song was. Like I've listened to it, I've analyzed it. It's not, sure, it's a descending line, but it doesn't even descend on the same
Yeah, I know what you're
intervals.
talking about, 'cause
Like
I
it's
had-
not, and because he added an effect to the voice. The what? No, like
Nobody
and
can
like and
ever
they're
hold-
winning. Like the people who are like filing those lawsuits are winning, and the reason why is because the jurors in those lawsuits are people who don't know jack shit about music, and they're just like, oh yeah, that sounds similar. No, you stole that, and it's like, no, like. What? So someone played a C4 and I can never play a C4 ever
It's like
again?
music's been
The,
out for thousands upon thousands of years. You
Beyonce
think
had
I'm
something
not
like that
gonna
happen
hit
a
the
few
same?
years ago where it was funny because they had the same one of the writers help the person before, I forget who it was, and then help Beyonce, and so it had a similar taste because he was involved in
Right.
both of them. She sued and won, and he was just sitting there like, no, that's because of me. Like we've talked about like, and she's like, nah, it sounds just like mine. And I think it was Halo or something like that, and like big song from Beyonce.
Right. I mean, like now, but then there's issues like with Queen's Under Pressure and Vanilla Ice's.
But
Ice
that's
Ice
just sampled.
Baby.
You can sample music. That's fine. Like everyone samples music at some point.
Yeah, that was a little. I don't know. That was just a little different. Like a sample is like just a little bitty snippet. That was the whole like bass line.
Yeah, we've been trying to find an intro and stuff like that for
Yeah.
the podcast. And I'm like, he's like, we should use samples. And I was like, nah.
Now, see, look, something you could do. They have royalty-free samples all over the place.
I saw that, but I'm
all
like,
over the place.
I thought
But
about that.
now
I'm
that you
like,
bring that up, like that's how hip hop really got its
Yeah.
start. Like they would take jazz records and they would they would mark on the vinyl, which was you fucking
Taboo.
didn't do that at the
Yeah.
time. They would mark on the vinyl where that spot was, and the DJs would just go through and they would just keep playing. They would loop that spot
Yep.
manually, and that's how hip hop got its start. You know, so but now we've got
Seen the Ray Charles movie, right? I mean, like he started out just singing like Nat King Cole, and
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everybody else, that's all. He didn't have any original.
Right.
And Gold Digger came out, and everyone was like,
Who's that? I mean, what's the thing right now with Post Malone and freaking
Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, dude. Everybody
it's
like
a joke, guys. Okay, everyone
No.
knows who Ozzy
That
is.
actually.
except for Ozzy. Ozzy has no
Yeah,
idea.
I'm
who
about to
Ozzy
say
is.
that actually started like way earlier with like
Sharon.
there was
who's this Ozzy?
there was a few people who would like throw people on their tracks and everybody's like, oh, like remember when Kanye West had Daft Punk in there?
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh man, this song's good, man." I'm like, "Yeah, because it's Daft Punk," and they're like, "Who?" I'm like, "The entire song is Daft Punk." I'm like, "If you erase the little piece Kanye contributed, and I'm like, it's actually better if you just listen to the real song."
Yeah.
But that was the same thing, and that's happening a lot lately. People are like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Well, that's just because you have a very narrow-minded view of music.
Or you didn't know.
Exactly, because you have a very narrow-minded view of music.
I mean, like that. I'm not gonna lie. That's totally how I found Daft Punk, though. I was really young when that song came out, though.
And who looks like the asshole? The one with the kid.
But like, I was really young when that song came out, and I was like, "Who did
Well, that's
this?"
what I was saying,
And
like-
I found, and that's how I found
You-
Daft Punk's music.
There's a lot of times when you think someone's like famous, and you're like, "Oh, you've heard of him?" No. It's like, oh, okay.
I don't know half the rappers that are doing anything right now that like everybody's super into.
Yeah.
Like,
I see him on Facebook, and I'm like, NBA, isn't that a basketball league?
NBA YoungBoy.
Like, for a
National
while there, I was
Basketball
like,
Association young boy.
that's where I was like, damn, like the basketball's really stepping up their game. For, like, getting into rappers now. Like rapping during the game, this 3-pointer in.
Just rapping over the buzzer going off.
Where can we find y'all?
Nowhere yet.
Instagram. What do you mean? Instagram's pretty much the only social media
Yeah,
platform we
Instagram.
use.
Official underscore
Facebook really didn't do much
HFA.
for us. So when we had Rufus Bankston, so I think we're just doing Instagram at this point.
Yeah, I don't have
Figure it out.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, we have the same problem. Facebook, they want too much money to
Yeah.
boost their stuff.
Yeah.
Instagram's the same though.
And it's like you already
they're-
have to be
it's the same
successful in
company.
order
Yeah, I
to
know.
make yourself successful with Facebook.
But the cool thing is, if you boost it on Facebook, it boosts it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works out fine.
Yeah,
it's-
but you
it's
can find
hard
us
to gain
on
organic traction.
Instagram at official_HFA, which is Home Field Advantage.
That's us.
That's us. You can find us there.
Give us some follows.
Where'd
'Cause
that
we need
name
some
come from?
follows.
That came from me at work one day. I don't.
Because we were trying to find a name.
Yeah, we had a few ideas that I was just like, nah, let's just hang on to them for a second. I'm gonna think of something better. And I was in the office and I was putting something up and I said home field advantage, and I said home field advantage, and I texted Brendan like, yo, home field advantage. He's like, what? I'm like, that's the name. He was like, okay, I dig it, and that's how that name came about.
I actually really liked it because I had a name that I was kind of stuck onto, and he hit me with home field advantage. I was like, fuck that name, we're going home field advantage, and that was it.
I mean, it's cool, and like I kind of expected for some other people to use that name, but I only found one account anywhere, and it's a band that hasn't been active since 2013. So I don't think they would have any
And
issue.
this just in, making a comeback.
When we were looking for our name originally, what was that with the original
The
name?
Great Debate.
We were going to be The Great Debate. We're like looking it up. There's one guy who has a podcast called The Great Debate, and it's about fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Fucking right. Fucking right.
That's what's up,
Nothing to
man.
do about debating.
He
Nothing
doesn't
to
put
do with
any
it.
content out. He doesn't hardly ever put any content out.
So
It's-
I
At
thought
that point
about
is
it.
when you'd hit him up and like, yo, we want this name.
And see, that's kind of the
Give
fucked
me.
up part. If someone takes the name that y'all want and they don't release any content, they can still be like, hey, you stole our name. But you don't fucking put out any content.
I mean, if they don't hold the trademarks
You
in
know
that name, you're
people
clear.
do that for a living though.
Yeah.
Like, like if when Deadpool came out, like for the movie and stuff like that, they took the rights to Deadpool, the website, and they bought Fox bought it for like $50,000 off.
Dude,
of it.
people used to do that all the time.
And he was
They used
like,
to- they
he
used to
making
buy
money.
Fucking like .com.
You're rolling your eyes, but you're like, damn,
No,
I should
like,
have thought of that.
That's why I'm like, damn.
Like,
bro,
that's what I'm like.
fuck.
If I could go back in time, that's what I tell myself:
Right.
buy them all.
You hear about there was some kid who did that. He went and bought like some generic name for a website. It was like pizza.com or something like that. But he bought it, just held on to it. Like 2 years later, they were like offering him millions of dollars.
Well,
for
see,
it.
there's a guy who bought, I think it was Google. I really think it was Google because like Google's thing ran up and he was online and it found out that this domain was for sale, so he bought it. And then like whoever hit him up and was like, so we kind of need this name back. Here's this much money. Research that so you know I'm not lying. That's very true.
Yeah,
There is
my
a guy.
My brother told me to do the same thing. He said, watch the stock market. New companies popping up. If they haven't built a website yet, he said, buy the name. That's what he told me. He's
And
like,
you can
"Seriously,
buy
just
them
the
dirt
fucking
cheap
name."
too.
He said, because they'll try to manipulate it, make up some name kind of like it, and try to get around it. But eventually, if they make enough money, they'll want the original name. They'll want the real name.
So that means if any of you go out and make homefieldadvantage.com,
I already made it. It's done.
I
It's
s-
done.
That's what he
I
walked
know where
away
to
from.
find out.
That's actually why he wanted you on the podcast to tell you
That's
that.
why he just walked away. He's like, I gotta go
I
make
gotta
shit
see if
right
they're
now.
any good.
When he
Right,
messaged me,
make
he's
this-
like, "Where's the name?" And he sent me the text message over the digital receipt. He's like, "I got it." So you best believe he's gonna be your number one fan because he needs that money.
No, did you see? What was it? I just saw that the other day. This like 18-year-old kid. He was smart. He bought a web page, and he sold. It was 1,000,000 pixels. He broke it into like 1,000,000 pixels, and he sold each pixel for $1. You can put whatever you wanted in that pixel, and he fucking sold all them pixels. So he had $1 million.
Huh.
Just that one page. And that's all it is. It's just that.
It's
just
probably
that
all
one
like just
pixel.
ads and like every pixel.
Whatever they want it to be. He said you can do whatever you want. It's your pixel. You buy it. It's yours. He's like, you're just running a pixel space on my page. That's what he did. He sold the whole thing too.
Well, damn. Huh.
Clever bastard.
That
If
kind of
the
sounds
job-
complex though.
if the job you want doesn't exist, you better fucking create it. Like,
How do I set
Like,
it
you hear
home?
shit like that, and you're like, "And I got work tomorrow."
That's what it was the thing. I said it was like the top 20 ways or top 10 ways stupid ways that people became millionaires or something like that. I was
You
like,
imagine explaining that to your parents? Like, I dropped out of high school because people bought my pixels.
That dad was probably, what's a pixel?
Right?
It's
are
what
you
made
selling
me-
drugs?
Yeah.
pretty much.
Actually, I might need that. What is that?
I know in my head I'm like, I need to go look how to do this shit because that's.
No, what's a pixel? I'm trying to do some pixel, man.
So Instagram is where we can find y'all.
Yeah.
Yep.
October 16th.
October
Or you can
16th.
text me at all hot women. I'm just kidding.
Are y'all planning on putting, like, after y'all get this done, are y'all planning on getting it put online and stuff so people can start downloading it right away?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna do the single before. We're definitely gonna release a single a few weeks before we do the album.
Yeah.
Let us know. So
We were
we'll,
hoping to have
like-
a single recorded
Before this,
by today, but
Brendan fucked it up.
yeah,
I couldn't play
he
the
was too
drums,
busy.
dude.
He was too busy.
You had to learn to play the drums in time.
No, dude, I just got so fucked up, I just couldn't play them.
Oh, okay.
No, I feel like he might be the hardest worker sometimes. He's like, Brendan, I'm on my drums. You're sleeping. I've been here all night.
That's the opposite of me. Kane's like, Brendan, go practice drums. I'm like, man, like in an hour or so. No, go practice drums.
He'll go up there, you'll hear him playing for a second, and then
whack
come,
him.
alright, I'm going home.
Right? What'd you practice?
How
I
long
played a
you-
song
How long have you been playing drums?
since I was 8. So like,
Yeah, it's a pretty long time. So I had a nephew who was like a prodigy with drums. He was
12
like
years,
he was like
Brendan,
4 he
12
was
years.
4 years old.
Not good at math.
Fucking just wailing
I
on
failed.
drums. It was fucking crazy. He went on to he learned to play like 6 instruments. There.
And,
He was a musical prodigy.
I'm self-taught. Like I only had like 2 classes where like, and all he taught me was how to play with play with my
That's
feet.
how it was.
And
They
that's
gave
all it
him
was.
they gave him a toy drum set at 4 years old, and
Yeah,
he's in there like everything they played, he was copying it like exactly.
That's crazy.
And then they got him a real drum set, and then by like 6 years old, he was playing in their church's band. And then he went on to like learn guitar and like a whole bunch of other shit. It was great.
I played drums at church.
Did you?
It's like my
I
thing.
think we all did.
Yeah, he's our drum tech also. He's
Yeah,
also our
no,
drum
see,
tech.
like Brennan plays drums, but I'm the drum tech because I don't know why.
He sets them up, and if I set him up, he gets mad because I don't do it a certain way. And sometimes I do it
Which
wrong.
is weird because he's the one playing it.
Right.
Like-
I just sit
But
on
I
the
know how
side.
Brennan wants to play though. I've seen how Brennan plays for so many years. It's just kind of like, all right, he doesn't know what he wants. Let
Like,
me
no,
just
like,
do it.
I'll be helping him, and Kane's like, set everything down, I got this. And I'm just like, I'm gonna go get a drink. Like,
You know what you should do? Right before y'all perform, move it around. So he can't do anything.
I like.
So all
Hang
he,
on.
all he can do is watch it while it happens. And like right before y'all introduce me, like, hey, guess what?
Kane, there goes the fucking Tom just over my shoulder, like.
And Gage is probably over there just motherfuckers.
I'm just staying in the pocket, man.
Gage's just over there playing bass. She's just like, I don't care.
Gage is like, I'm with these fucking
He's like,
assholes.
what's up, y'all? I'm Gage. And
No.
they're idiots.
They're idiots.
He's
Which
like,
is
listen to my
accurate.
godsend talent while these motherfuckers over here argue.
Gage's over there just showing his fucking skills, and Kane's over there yelling at me because I'm moving the drum set
Have you
around.
have you guys seen Bohemian Rhapsody yet?
Yes, I have. It's
Okay.
actually a really good movie.
I know I have too. I feel like Gage is like when they're arguing, when they make another one bites the dust, that's Gage. Doom, doom. They're like, wait a minute, that's good. He's like, yeah, come play with me now.
That is actually not wrong. That's
No,
not
that's
too far
pretty.
off.
That's pretty accurate.
That's not too far
He's like,
off.
wait, Cade, let's try to do this rhythm. And
See,
I'm
the
like,
difference-
no. And he's like, no, just listen. Just hear me. Okay, play. And I'm like, okay.
The difference is me and Caden aren't arguing. We're just fucking around. We're actually like doing the opposite of arguing. We're just laughing and cutting up, and Caden just like, shut the fuck up and play. And we're just like, hey,
Guys,
that's pretty
guys,
cool.
come on.
Like,
Guys,
you know.
guys, come on. Guys, it's time to
That
play.
shit sounds like it's about right there. Guys, come on. Guys, hey, focus. Look at me, focus.
Who writes most of the lyrics? I meant to ask that.
He does actually.
Which is weird. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's why he's in the band, huh?
That's right. I don't play. I'm not good at drums. I'm just good at lyrics.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up right here.
Yeah.
Find y'all on Instagram.
Instagram, that's about the only place.
Official _ HFA.
Don't forget about the show, October 16th, at Nightcap.
At Nightcap,
billiards.
doors open at 9. You gotta be 18 and up, right?
Yeah, 18 and up.
You gotta be 18.
So
if
bring
you're
the
17,
fake IDs.
bring your fake IDs.
It is a costume party. I want to see
Yes.
everybody come out in like some raunchy stuff, so I can have
See,
something to stare at the whole time.
What we plan on doing is we're trying to. I don't know if this is official, but what I want to do is I want to charge people at least like $8 or something if you're not in costume. If you're not in costume, you're getting charged $8. Now if you come in with costume, you can be like $3 to $5. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get a little discount. Just so we know everyone comes. If you don't do that, everyone's gonna show up in regular clothes. But oh yeah, I'm Dan. Well, you're already fucking Dan. You're Dan 365 days of the year. Be someone else for once.
Well, if you do the math, a costume might be $30-$40 versus $8.
What?
Yeah, but I mean, it's Halloween season.
Don't
You
be
have other
broke.
reasons.
Don't be broke. a lot of people do. They buy their costume and they return it the next day.
You right.
Hey, that's an idea. I'm in the same boat with them. I'm broke as a bitch. So like, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get my costume, but I'm gonna get it.
He
If
said
it's
Dave.
homemade-
He's gonna be Dave.
Name tag. Yeah, look, name tag. Yeah, I'm Dave.
Yo, by the way, I found one of your work shirts at my house, so you do have one left.
Hey, turn up. That means I can be a Coupe de Ville worker.
Dude, I still have my work shirt from when I worked at the party store in Hampton.
Victor.
Victor?
That's my brother-in-law.
No.
Okay, wait. Alright, look, you
Victor
can
was
cut
my
this out
boss.
100%.
Wait, okay.
Do
We've been the divided people. Go listen to them. Good night.